Thank you. My name is Scott Coates, and I was a very young son of a single mother in Weedsport, New York, and I've come to realize that Vic Sign targeted me, profiled me, and worked diligently to turn me into one of his victims. And it's the one thing I've learned over trying to deal with this over the past 40 years of trying to bury it, trying to go to therapy, trying to get it out, trying to do anything I could to put it behind me, is that these guys don't quit. There's no way I was his first, and there's no way I was his last. And I'm not a money person. I'm not here today to try to become rich off the backs of other people who may or may not have known or had anything to do with this. I'm here today because I tried on my own to stop Vic Sign. I got into therapy in 1999, and I wrote 2 letters. I wrote a letter to what is now the Longhouse Council in New York. It was the Cayuga Boy Scout Council then. And I wrote a letter to the National Boy Scouts. I wrote a letter to the National Boy Scouts and the Cayuga County District Attorney's Office.
You wrote that in 1999. What response did you get from the Boy Scouts?
I got nothing. I wrote the letter because I called the council and I asked if Vic Sign, anonymously, I asked if Vic Sign was still involved in scouting. I had hoped that someone else had come forward that I wasn't aware of. I didn't live in New York at that point. And I was hoping that someone had gotten him kicked out. And to my horror, I learned that he was still a scoutmaster. He was revered as a volunteer for the Boy Scouts. And so I wrote this letter in an effort to put them on notice and tell them, this happened to me, and you need to get rid of this guy. He's a pedophile, he's a predator. And if he did it to me, he's done it to others. I never received a reply, not a word. It took me 6 weeks to make the decision to come forward. And I'm coming forward not because I'm trying to make a recovery, because I'm trying to punish them. I'm coming forward because this is not fair. This is not right. They need to make these files public. And I'm here to ask those other Boy Scout troop members that know me, many of whom I talked to last fall, some of whom I suspect are victims themselves and are not ready to face it. I talked to school district employees who admitted that they knew that Vic Sign was a pedophile, but didn't say anything because Vic Sign was a bully to them. He was in a position of extreme power. He could get them fired. In one case, he did get an employee fired. And he was a pillar of the community. He was a Mason. He was in charge of Rotary. He was a deacon in the local church. This man released press releases every week. He was the mayor of Weedsport. How would I fight against that? How would I impugn the reputation of a man like that? I want to talk to those victims, and especially to the witnesses, to the teachers, to the people who knew this was going on, and ask them to please, you don't have to do it publicly like I am. I'm doing it publicly because I want you to know that you're not alone, and I'm here to stand with you, whether you do it privately, whether you do it anonymously as the law allows. You can file as a John Doe. I had that opportunity and I rejected it because I wanted my name out there. I wanted my fellow scouts and classmates to know that I'm coming forward to tell the story, even though they can't. It's not that they won't, it's that they're hurting and they can't. And to the people that knew about this in Weedsport, I want you to come forward and clear your conscience. You know this was happening. I want them to know that there are resources available and that they have a very limited opportunity with this law to compel the Boy Scouts and to compel the school district to tell the truth. These people knew, and the truth needs to come out. It's not fair. It just boils down to that. It's just not right.